Welcome back to We Need to Talk, ladies and gentlemen, the show that looks at football on the internet over the past 7 days. And what a 7 days it's been, as we've seen Mario Gotze and his wife swap lives. Five-a-side football will never be the same after our mates over at SE Don's done this. And one slithering journo failed to get a nibble out of Jose Mourinho.
Cheer up, it's going to be alright. Cheer up, it's going to be okay.
What?
It's going to be okay, cheer up.
What?
Yeah, the season, it's going to be okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But today, we need to talk about the coronavirus. Worldwide, 121,000 people have been diagnosed with COVID-19. It's widely known what the symptoms are, and if you don't know at home, please give them a Google search. Extraordinary measures have been taken to curb the spread of it. To start with, football, though, was relatively unaffected by the virus, with games going ahead in front of thousands of people in the crowd. However, in late January, with the coronavirus spreading quickly across China, the CSL postponed games, which made perfect sense, with the country limiting mass gatherings. At the time, the country's top sides were out of the country. Shuzhou Zhuang Everbright, for example, had left the Middle Kingdom for a training camp in Abu Dhabi in January. It was supposed to last just 2 weeks. However, that has turned into 7. And if they return, the players and staff would have to be confined to the clubhouse. Italy was then the first European country to be badly affected, with towns in the northern area of the country going into lockdown because of the virus. Games between sides such as Atalanta and Sassuolo were postponed, with 5 matches from the last game week being played behind closed doors, including the title clash race between Juve and Inter Milan, with Juve winning 2-0. As the virus has escalated, so has government measures, with Italy postponing sporting events until at least April the 3rd. Italian teams have also been denied entry to other countries to play their fixtures in competitions such as the Europa League. And now the first footballer in Europe's top 5 leagues has contracted the virus, with Juventus confirming that Daniele Rugani has tested positive for COVID-19. In the Bianconeri statement, they confirm that the 7 times Italian capped international is asymptomatic, meaning that he is producing or showing no symptoms. As the first top flight and internationally recognised player to be affected, we could potentially start seeing more stringent measures taken in the next few days. Now, Rugani is in isolation, and it's not currently known at the time of writing whether any other players or staff of the Old Lady have tested positive. The defender was on the bench for Juve's title clash against Inter just a few days ago, with the Nerazzurri taking swift action, putting out a statement that the club are suspending all competitive activity until further notice. Cristiano Ronaldo is also taking precaution, staying in his hometown of Madeira, awaiting events to unfold with the current health emergency. Rugani has since posted an update on Instagram, which read, "You will have read the news, and that's why I want to reassure all of those who are worrying about me. I'm fine. At this moment, however, I feel even more duty to thank all the doctors and nurses who are struggling in hospitals to face this emergency. I urge everyone to respect the rules because this virus makes no distinctions. Let's do it for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for those around us. #Thank you." Of course, this means the Italian FA will have to make a decision over the season's future even sooner, with the officials mulling over 3 potential options. Number 1 is declaring the title as vacant, assigning Euro spots based on current standings, and there being no relegation. Option 2 is the season just finishes, with the title and relegation spots based on where the table is at the moment. And option 3, which is the option I would go for, playoffs for the title and relegation spots. Regardless of the hypotheticals, we here at FD wish Rugani a speedy recovery and that the rate of infection in Italy slows down over the next couple of weeks. But we're not finished there, as there's also been precautions taken at other major European clubs, as according to L'Equipe, even Kylian Mbappe was tested for the coronavirus. The striker had been suffering from a throat complaint over the past few days, but his test came back as negative and he was on the bench for PSG's clash against Dortmund for the last 16. And that game went ahead, with PSG facing Dortmund behind closed doors because of fears of the virus. Though that didn't stop fans coming out in full force, and perhaps stupidly, Kurzawa got right in the mix post-game. Take a look at this. In comparison, the Premier League has been relatively unaffected by the virus. That was until Wednesday, when Arsenal's clash against Manchester City was postponed. The high-stakes match was delayed because some of the Arsenal players had contact with Olympiakos' owner Marinakis when they faced them in the Europa League, who has been diagnosed with COVID-19. The players and staff affected have been put in self-isolation as a precaution until the 14-day period advised by the government is up. They are expected to return to training on Friday. It is the first top-flight game in England to be called off because of the outbreak, and the league has said no other fixtures were in immediate danger of being postponed. However, as of last night, the Times have reported that all football matches in England will be played behind closed doors under government plans to combat the coronavirus that could be triggered as early as today. In the article, there are several key points which will affect the Premier League. The current season will not be postponed, and instead the Premier League and lower division matches will be moved behind closed doors. All Premier League season ticket holders and ticket holders for individual games will be able to live stream coverage into their homes. Their next point was no games will be shown in pubs to avoid congregation of people. They then went on to say that the Premier League games will not be shown live in the 3 p.m. slot on Saturday afternoons. Broadcasters will be permitted to screen more than one Premier League game during both the lunchtime and tea time television slots on Saturday and the scheduled slots on Sundays and Mondays. According to the Times, this plan will be implemented as soon as the number of confirmed coronavirus cases in the UK passes 500. As of last night, that number stood at 460. And it's worth sparing a thought for the lower league clubs and surrounding businesses of those clubs, as with no punters coming to the games, they've got no customers to serve. So that brings us to the now of the coronavirus affecting the world of football. However, questions are being asked about the future. What's going to happen to Euro 2020? Well, UEFA have admitted the tournament is at risk, delivering the following statement. Euro 2020 will kick off on the 12th of June 2020 in Rome. UEFA is in touch with the relevant international and local authorities regarding the coronavirus and its development. There is no need to change anything in the planned timetable. The issue will be kept under constant scrutiny. So that's where we are today. However, it is worth keeping in mind that this is a fast evolving story and things will keep coming out every single day. So if you want to stay up to date, make sure you're following us on our Football Daily socials. However, during this time, I think it is worth remembering what Ancelotti once said: football is the most important thing out of the least important things in life. So that's all we have time for in this week's We Need to Talk. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. There's no good, the bad or ugly. And a quick note, in the description we've put a link so you guys can find your local food bank. During this time they're really suffering due to the bulk buying and need some necessities. So if you guys can help, it would be greatly appreciated, and we here at FD would love you for doing it. We'll see you next week, and make sure you're staying safe.